Keep in mind, this guy wants to be revered as God. Truly the most God-level things. Well, then again, if you do read the Bible, God has some f***ed up stories in that thing. Maybe he is God. Actually, I've changed my tune. He might actually be God, the more I think of it. After this latest episode of Shield Hero, any sort of, like, hate that gets thrown towards the show, we can safely say is completely unjustified. Because the only thing that might have remained slightly true is that maybe production hasn't been, to season 1 levels. Nah, after this whole arc, man, if people are, like, you can dislike things, but to unironically say Shield Hero fell off, no. Shield Hero has surpassed the best stuff of season 1. You can't convince me otherwise. Make sure you drop a like, those shows support, subscribe if you're around here, and Patreon so you catch my full live reactions. This is probably a one-off, I imagine. The last video I did when I first started talking about Season 4 on the channel, it looked like it did well, but not a lot of attention that was given to the video if you actually look into the analytics like I did, which, of course, you don't have the analytics that I do, but the average watch time wasn't great, so yeah. Sadly, people don't give a shit about Shield Hero, so I lock it behind Patreon, so I will always watch it over there, but, maybe you'll surprise me. We'll see. The thing is Shield Hero, it's an interesting beast because I'm fully convinced half of the people who like Season 1 only liked it because Naofumi was edgy. Because the internet is the way it is, I have to baby talk some people. If you simply just don't like something, that's fine. I'm clearly not talking about you. But there is a large portion who have unironically typed, I miss when Naofumi was angry. Naofumi got soft in the second half of Season 1, and that's when it started to dip. No one's gonna deny Season 2 was the weakest part of the story. It was the weakest part in the novels. People universally agree. Like, there are some people who think they should have took more time in Season 2, but even the most diehard Season 2 haters are like, at least they got through it. Because Season 3 is where the show took a turn, and it started to implement a lot of good ideas from both of those seasons. And when you deal with the story that they did, Naofumi's finally back in the kingdom, which he was supposed to be summoned in. This is the kingdom that worships the Shield Hero. And he basically wants nothing to do with it. He's on a mission. He wants to get out of here. And they introduce a very fun political dynamic. We're dealing with, we have our two siblings here, right? We have Full and Outla, and they are completely despised because of their birth heritage and everything like that. And we have this one guy, Jaralis, who I was actually convinced would turn out to be like, yeah, he's a bit of a scumbag, but he actually ends up helping us more than Birdbrain. No, the most scummy looking character turned out to be the most scummy, and he challenges us to a tournament. And between episodes 4 and 5, you have some of the best production and fight scenes that we've seen since Season 1. Like, they went hard with the production. And the only thing at this point that is different is that Naofumi, yes, is a lot less edgy. But if you would have just kept Naofumi as this edgy person who hates everyone, the show would have been boring as f***. Like, there's no other way to put it. The way they've evolved his character to actually restoring his humanity and restoring elements that he likes about life, on top of this political intrigue, has been so freaking fun. And while, yes, Season 2 is the weakest point of Shield Hero, Season 3 picked it right back up. And I've even had some people say that Season 3's production was mid, and I'm like, I'm just truly convinced either people are repeating talking points and refusing to have their own opinions of things, or they're just blinded by the fact that Naofumi's not an edgelord anymore. Does Naofumi have a reason to be an edgelord in the first half of Season 1? Yes. But he's not an edgelord past that because he actually develops and, gets a personality beyond just pointless grief. And just watching that whole dynamic, and honestly, this is one of the biggest compliments I can give. Prior to this arc, I never hated Full as a character, and I thought Atla as a character was fun. But they were the farthest thing from being my favorite characters in this show. So when they're tagging along, like, I'm not rolling my eyes like, damn, these twins are going to be, part of our crew. No, I'm just like, it is what it is, but they're not going to do much for me. No, they're fantastic. Not only did you get the diplomacy and also seeing her kick ass, she was great. I had zero confidence in Full. I was like, oh, he's going to have to get saved, this, that, and the third, and he held his own. When you're dealing with a story about a dad who was stabbed in the back, and all of the insecurities and shitty aspects about Jaralis as a character, he made up the lie that it was all about his dad. When no, like, you're the one who ran away and trying to get everyone killed. Like, in the flashback with the whole story, you learn that he's like, okay, all these soldiers will die for me as long as I live, that's all that matters. And then he used that lie to paint it on their dad. And it's just like, okay, you're a piece of shit. And it got worse. And as he kept powering up and transforming more and more into different versions of this demonic beast, I love how it's a complete contrast as Full levels up and becomes more and more angelic and heroic. Obviously with some Naofumi's help and, leveling up and stuff, but at the end of the day, the big reason everything happened was because of his own I'm him energy. And it was a great character arc. Like, I leave this stuff just so satisfied because you, once again highlight a lot of the political intrigue that makes the show so great. You fleshed out characters I had very little interest in. If they're on screen, I'm not rolling my eyes, but I'm not like, hip hip hooray, we get more of the white cub siblings. But then 3, you once again get to see how things are never going to go completely according to plan. So I always assumed if we ever went back to this, or if we ever went to the kingdom where Naofumi was supposed to be summoned, he'd be kicking back with beers, man. Like, he's like, yep, this is what I deserve. But he was pretty much annoyed with it the whole time because he's like, I don't have time to play God. And I really appreciate that because he's a man on a mission. He's got countdowns. He's got places to run. He's like, I got my own place to run. I don't got time for your political bullshit. And it was just really cool to see what they're able to accomplish. And while, is this episode actually going to change diehard haters' minds? No. People will still say, oh, I miss when Shield Hero used to be like this back in Season 1. But at the end of the day, I think the only thing that might have been left that they could have objectively held on to, even though there's been some good animation and some great fights, even look at Season 3, that whole tournament, great animation. There's something different in quality with that one-on-one tournament, which I guess was actually a 2-on-2, and then he started cheating and bringing in zombies. It was a whole ordeal. The animation and the grotesqueness and the fact that there was no 3D either, yeah, we're so back. I truly believe, and I know people are going to flame me for this, Season 3 through 4 is the best stretch of Shield Hero content we've seen. Granted, I also think the second half of Season 1 is better than the first half of Season 1, but, I'm not saying people can't like the more edgy and, angry aspects of Naofumi in Season 1. It does hold a special place in my heart, but the characterization of Naofumi and the party as a whole and the political world and how they've developed it, this is so much more than a surface level isekai, and it's just a damn shame that a lot of the criticisms that get thrown on this show are so surface level and really don't represent, what the show actually is. But I've been loving it. I'm going to keep watching it. Probably a one-off video unless this video proves me otherwise or someone pays me a good amount in a super chat, because I ain't going to force myself to make videos on something that people don't want, because I already do that enough with shows like Dr. Stone. So you let me know your thoughts down below, and if you want more videos, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around your Patreon, of course, where you'll keep seeing me watch this every single week, and I give other exclusives like, hey, I give video shoutouts to all my patrons. So today we got Simon Lau, Jenny Stiegel, Pope of the Church, Matt Barker, Cal853, Xenogod, and we also have Mario Jacobs. I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.